Here are some of the strangest Florida man stories. Wait until you hear about the bubble Florida man tried to get Bermuda with. Number 14. Gifts for everyone. How many times have you wanted to take revenge on an ex, but decided it's not really worth it in the end? Well, Florida man Michael Anthony Johnson isn't one of those people. He's a man of action. He decided to leave gifts for everyone. And by that, we mean he broke into his ex-girlfriend's home and left logs for everyone around the house. His ex-girlfriend was sleeping, but it was one of her 3 kids that saw Johnson doing his duties all around their house. Do you think he was actually on anything, or did he do this completely sober? When police arrived, Johnson was arrested and accused of leaving logs on a bed, a glass kitchen plate, a wallet, and a dresser. Where did this guy have dinner? And hey, do us a big favor and hit that like button below. Number 13. Tacos later. A Florida man has been magnet fishing with his girlfriend when he found an old grenade. So, what did they do? They decided to go get tacos at Taco Bell. If you ever happen to find a hand grenade, do the smart thing and call the police right away. But then again, this is Florida man we're talking about. It was only after a few hours later did one of them decide to call 911 and explain the situation. Taco Bell had to be evacuated for a few hours, and the bomb squad was called to safely remove the grenade. Thankfully, the bomb did not go off and no one was hurt. Safety first, tacos later. Number 12. Grocery mystery. Florida man Vernon Messier and his wife were grocery shopping when all of a sudden he heard a loud pop and felt a burn in his leg. A bullet had hit him, but he had no clue how it happened. Quiz time. How was Vernon shot? Was it A, Vernon accidentally shot himself because he forgot he had a gun on him? Or was it B, his wife accidentally shot him when she dropped her purse? Or was it C, a random Florida man came and shot Vernon? Or was it D, the random bullet was from a drive-by shooting outside the store? Nobody in the store saw what happened, and no one could figure out until the police showed up. Vernon and his wife were loading groceries into a shopping cart when it happened. If you guessed B, then you're right. It was because of his wife. As his wife moved some toilet paper into her cart, she knocked over her small brown purse, and that's when it happened. Her gun did not have a trigger guard, and it was just loose in her purse unholstered. But since it was an accident and they both had valid permits to carry, the case was classified as an accidental injury and she was not charged. Although, don't you think it's pretty stupid to carry around a gun like that? Number 11. Hungry Hippo. Florida police officer Richard Maston faced possible jail time because he ate a piece of paper containing sensitive information during a criminal trial back in 2014. Maston was the Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers executive director, and he was ordered to hand over a piece of paper that named the source of an anonymous tip. Instead of handing it over to the judge, he ate the information right then and there in the middle of a hearing. Maston said he did it because doing so would go back on the department's promise to tipsters of their identities never being compromised. And Maston wasn't about to break that promise because that meant tips would stop coming in. We're actually on Maston's side here. What about you? Number 10. Florida man explained? Have you guys ever wondered why Florida man is just so extra and crazy? Well, is it possible that this is what's causing it? Blooms of cyanobacteria, also known as toxic blue-green algae, are in the water all across Florida. The toxic algae produce some of the most powerful natural poisons on Earth. Scientists have warned that exposure to these toxins can cause liver damage and possibly brain damage. They're finding correlations to neurodegenerative diseases in marine life and people in general. For example, cyanobacteria emit BMAA, which is toxic to the brain. Science has linked BMAA to diseases such as Alzheimer's and ALS. The green slime produced by cyanobacteria leaves behind a dried crust, which new research revealed sends BMAA drifting into the air. While it's not proven that these toxins directly cause neurodegenerative diseases, scientists say the correlations are cause for concern and merit additional research. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of our latest releases. Number 9. Open and shut case. 33-year-old Florida man Robert Houston held his dad down and yelled at him. And, oh, we forgot to mention he also slapped his dad with a pizza. If you're asking us, why waste a perfectly good slice? So why was he mad at his dad? Because he blamed him for bringing him into the world. Obviously, he forgot to take his happy pills that morning. Interestingly enough, Houston just went outside and waited for the cops to arrive because he knew his dad was going to call the police. Deputies basically showed up and said, "Yep, this guy slapped his dad with a pizza. Let's go ahead and take him in because it's an open and shut case, Johnson." Number 8. Quality control. Florida man Douglas Kelly was arrested after complaining to deputies that he needed some quality control on some substance that he bought. If someone could think of something as dumb as this, the stuff has to be good, right? Kelly called the sheriff's office and explained that he bought some stuff about a week earlier, but he had a bad reaction to it, so he asked if the deputies could test out the quality for him. So the police decided to play along and told him to drive on down to the office, because why not if he's going to make things so easy? So Kelly was so dumb, he actually drove to the sheriff's office and handed over what he had wrapped in aluminum foil. Yep, it tested out to be some really good stuff, and Kelly was arrested and charged with possession. Number 7. Akin has cheeseburger. If there's one thing we know not to do, it's to not wake up a girlfriend the way this Florida man did. Kyle Jones decided to wake up his girlfriend by slapping her with a cheeseburger. What's up with Florida man and hitting people with food? He was arrested after his girlfriend called the police, telling them about the way she was woken up. Thankfully for her, she didn't have any signs of physical injuries, but the police were able to identify several leftover pieces of cheeseburger on her. Jones later admitted that he had a fight with his girlfriend, but that it never got physical. Police arrested and charged him anyway because who would make up being slapped with a cheeseburger? Number 6. Snowflake in Florida. Who knew that Florida man can also be politically correct? One Florida man felt so uncomfortable with comedian Ahmad's stand-up jokes at a club that he felt the need to call the police department to stop him from telling more inappropriate jokes. Apparently the joke told by Ahmad that set off this Florida man was this one: "Clap if you're from the Middle East." Ahmad said, "All right, we got a handful of us in here. Nice. But hey, it only takes one of us to tell a joke." He and his wife felt so uncomfortable because of the joke that they had to call the police. So why'd they do it? Because he was scared that Ahmed would tell a similar joke at his next performance. The police actually showed up at the comedy club to speak with Ahmed. And no, they didn't arrest Ahmed because even they were completely confused to why the joke could be offensive. Number 5. Laser strike. Florida man Vladimir Altman was arrested for doing something a 10-year-old would do, by shining a laser right at a sheriff's helicopter. The helicopter was flying over an apartment building when suddenly a laser was aimed into the cockpit from below. The pilot quickly spotted 3 people on a balcony and called for backup. Pointing a laser at the helicopter is dangerous because when the laser pointer hits the windshield, the glass diffuses the light. This can temporarily blind the pilot, and obviously, that's not something people inside the helicopter would want. Within minutes, deputies arrived and Altman was arrested and charged with a felony. Number 4. Mr. International. Of course, if a piece of Stonehenge is missing, it was Florida man that took it. 90-year-old Florida man Robert Phillips stole a 42-inch long piece of stone off of Stonehenge during archaeological excavations in 1958. But Phillips actually decided to return it after more than 60 years of owning it. Phillips had been taking it along with him all over the U.S. and all the places he's lived. It was only the night before his 90th birthday that he decided to return it with his sons, Robin and Lewis. They flew the stone back to Stonehenge and presented it to the site's curator. Apparently, people stealing pieces of Stonehenge was a thing because 2 other sections are still missing. The museum was asked for the public's help in locating the other missing pieces. They're deemed to be important because apparently the missing pieces can help determine where Stonehenge is originally from. Number 3. Bermuda Run. Florida man Ray Bellucci was rescued for trying to literally run between Florida and Bermuda. But why? And what is that thing? He designed and built what he calls his hydropod specifically for being able to run on water like he was in a giant hamster wheel. This was actually the second time he was rescued in under 2 years. His first rescue cost taxpayers $144,000 because an airplane, a helicopter, and a boat were deployed to rescue him. His reason for doing the journey again was to raise money for a children's charity. Unfortunately for him, he was rescued again 7 miles off the coast. There was basically no way for him to safely make the over 1,000-mile journey. So what was his plan to eat? He had brought some homemade protein bars and he planned on catching fish. But what about water, though? Number 2, free ride. Florida man Michael Paul needed a ride home from the hospital and he didn't have one, so he decided to steal an ambulance. This sounds exactly like Florida man logic, right? Paul noticed the red ambulance was just sitting there unoccupied as paramedics were taking a person into the emergency room. He had been in the ER earlier for what we don't know, but what we do know is that he was in a hurry to get home. Unfortunately for him, these ambulances have a GPS tracking device in it, so he was quickly found. Deputies tracked the ambulance within 30 minutes of it being stolen by Paul. And no, we're not going to make any comments about some of the strange things we're seeing in his mugshot. Number 1. Tough goodbyes. Only in Florida would you find a guy doing a crime with his partner as a monkey. Florida man Cody Heston had to be separated from his monkey after he was arrested for driving a stolen car into a ditch. Who puts their monkey along to steal a car? Of course, Heston didn't have a permit for his pet monkey named Monk because then he wouldn't be Florida man. Police caught Heston with a stolen car and his unauthorized monkey. He faced additional charges for having Monk without a permit. Although it was kind of cute and kind of sad moment when they shared a hug goodbye before Heston was taken to jail and Monk taken to a primate sanctuary. Watch this next video to find out about some of the dumbest criminals.